Okay, we are hearing the matter of case number 19J130, 131. Council, please identify for the record.
Ann Armstrong, Chief Assistant Prosecuting Attorney here on behalf of the department.
Deputy Acting Counsel for Roy Helmick, who appears in person.
Thank you.
Kristen Antoine, counsel for Marcia Helmick, who also appears in person. Audra Graham of the WG College of Law is also here. Jim Frias, guardian ad litem for the minor child.
Okay, we're here following up on a hearing that we had on March 24th, 2022, in regards to a motion that Mr. Helmick had filed for modification of the child support, and the court had the respondents to drug screen, and Mr. Helmick had tested positive, so court ordered the case be reopened. Ms. Armstrong?
Your Honor, that is correct. On March 24, 2022, respondent Roy Helmick had tested positive at that court hearing for methamphetamine and amphetamines, and the serological test was positive for methamphetamine, amphetamine, and MDMA. And because of that, the court thought it prudent, the department thought it prudent that the case be reopened. According to the order, there was supposed to be an investigation done by the department.
Yes.
But the order was entered April 18th of 2022, so 10 days have elapsed. Apparently there's no department here and there's no report, so I guess I would ask the court, again, the court ordered the case reopened. I don't know how it wants to proceed. I know the court had ordered the child in the mother's primary custody. I don't think there's going to be visitation allowed. The department will probably ask that to continue, pending some negative drug screen results from the county.
Mr. Helmick, have you been drug screened?
No, sir.
Have you drug screened?
No, sir.
So, Your Honor, Mr. Helmick and I have had lengthy conversations about this, and we believe that his Fourth Amendment rights to a legal search and seizure have been violated in this case, and the reason why is due to the fact that this case started on Mr. Helmick's child support modification, not on an abuse and neglect. It started from counsel filing a motion on his behalf for a modification of child support. The United States Supreme Court states that a urine screen is considered a search under United States law. And if you follow the Fourth Amendment to find that something has been an illegal search, you have to have probable cause, a search warrant, exigent circumstances in order for that search to be valid. So, given the fact that this was a modification of child support and not an abuse and neglect, not a criminal case, that there was not probable cause, there was not exigent circumstances, there was nothing that would warrant a drug screen for a modification of child support. Now, in the previous case, in the abuse and neglect case, Mr. Helmick had passed all of his drug screens to the point where he wasn't required to drug screen anymore, even prior to the hearing. So, for the court to order him to drug screen, feel that it's a violation of his Fourth Amendment right to an illegal search and seizure. And if that is correct, then any requirement of drug screens after that, based upon that positive screen, would be also thrown out. And so, until we get the Fourth Amendment issue resolved, as with a search warrant, I believe Mr. Helmick doesn't feel that he needs to drug screen because it's a violation of his Fourth Amendment rights. And also, in the United States, what is it called? Drug Testing and Child Welfare Practice and Policy Considerations. This is the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. In the very first page of this, it states that a drug test alone cannot determine the existence or absence of a substance use disorder. In addition, drug tests do not provide sufficient information for substantiating allegations of child abuse or neglect, or for making decisions about the disposition of a case. So reopening a case on maybe an illegal search, that really goes against that, because it's saying that he has a substance abuse problem from one positive drug screen. So I don't know how the court wants to go forward with it, but that's our beliefs in the system, is that it violated his Fourth Amendment rights by requiring a drug screen on no probable cause, no exigent circumstances. That's it.
Okay, Ms. Armstrong, anything?
Well, the only thing I would say, she filed a motion for modification under the JA case. This court retains jurisdiction under the JA Chapter 49 cases, which are civil proceedings. And quite frankly, if the court standard procedure is to have people hair follicle tests and drug tests, so to say that they did something outside the norm is incorrect. And problematic that he has continued to refuse the drug test. So these Chapter 49 cases about the child's safety, and therefore, if he has a positive for methamphetamine, which he did, the child's not safe with him. So I guess he can make that determination on whether he wants to go forward or remain a drug screen or not.
Okay, Ms. Nelson, in addressing your Fourth Amendment issue, this court did have probable cause, and Mr. Helmick had been using drugs. Mr. Helmick was living with an individual that from another case that had admitted to and tested positive for methamphetamine. Mr. Helmick filed this motion in this abuse and neglect case. This court drug test respondents. I don't discriminate against individuals. That is this court's policy, that individuals coming in here on these child cases, if the court suspects there's possible drug use, I am going to drug test people. I ordered Mr. Helmick to go drug screen. Mr. Helmick tested positive for methamphetamine. And until he gets 2 weeks of clean drug screens, there is no visitation. And that's this court's order.
Okay. So with regards to the probable cause that you just had stated, Mr. Helmick and I had spoke about that also, and he believes that there cannot be probable cause because of someone else's drug use. Even though that they were living together doesn't necessarily mean that there was probable cause to believe that he was using also. So that's our argument, is that there was no probable cause to believe that based upon someone else's drug use, because that would just be saying that your neighbor is dealing drugs, and just because you're their neighbor, you're dealing drugs also. So that's our argument against the probable cause.
Ms. Nelson, I test every individual comes in here with these child abuse cases with the drug epidemic that there is. Mr. Helmick was living and associating with an individual, like I said, that tested positive for methamphetamine. The court observes individual behavior in here, everyone that comes in this courtroom. That's the reason I sit in this courtroom, and I don't go into my chambers every day between every hearing and come back out here and have individuals stand up when I enter the courtroom. I observe individuals from the time they come through that door until they sit down. So that's the court's rule. So you're telling me Mr. Helmick's going to refuse the drug screen?
I will talk to him, and I will update you on, what he's willing to do.
What I'm saying is there is no visitation until 2 weeks clean drug screen. And I'm also going to say that these proceedings are confidential. And violations of that, this court will take into consideration its final determination. Now, am I clear? Mr. Helmick, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Ms. Armstrong, how long does the department need to do an investigation?
I would say 30 days to, I think 45 is normally what when there's an overlap court department.
Okay, well, today's 28th, so they've already had 10 since they entered the order. So what I'm going to say is the investigation needs to be done by May 27th.
Your Honor, we would request that, Mon County Day Report be able to do his drug screen.
Why?
Just because he believes that he could get to Mon County, better if he's trying to find a job. And so he feels that he could get to Mon County to do the drug screens, and I know that they're observed because we have abuse and neglect cases up there too. So I think they have the same policy as community corrections here.
Well, if he gets a job, you can come back to me with a motion. Right now, Preston County Community Corrections do that.
Okay.
Is he insinuating Preston County Community Corrections is corrupt?
No, I don't think that at all. I mean, I think that, you know, he would just feel as if, since he's gonna try to get a job in Morgantown, that it would be easier for him to be able to leave the job to go there rather than travel all the way.
How long has it been since Mr. Helmut worked?
It's been a while since he's worked. As we had put on the record the last time, he had lost his job due to COVID, and he did send me, a recording of that. I have to figure out how I can get that into the court file unless I just displayed it in open court. But he did send me that when you had requested that he was fired for the COVID testing. But he has been actively trying to look for a job.
Where else he checked?
And where have you been checking?
I checked with Asplin. I've got a couple applications in through the Morgantown Department of Unemployment.
Okay, so he's got, applications through Morgantown Unemployment. He's checked with Asplin. They're like a tree service, right, which is where he worked at tree service before, so,
Well, Ms. Nelson, I'm gonna tell Mr. Helmut the same thing I tell everybody else that says they're looking for jobs. Almost every employee I know of is begging for employees.
okay.
They're begging for employees. So if somebody wants a job, there's jobs out there.
Okay.
Do you wanna get paid in the city here?
Get the phone number, and then we'll come back to it. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, and positive for the prescription and it says prescription with a court license.
Yes, Ms. Nelson, I'm going to your client's drug screen today.
Okay.
Ms. Armstrong, and you made a good call. Get up here. Supposed to be into the improvement period, so you're usually only take about half hour. All okay. So, indications like this is about 11 o'clock on June 8th. goes, if you can get that order to me as soon as possible, we'll get it filed, get it signed and entered. It's ongoing, you can go and call the department, let them know that, it's on the 18th, there's an order signed, directing them to do the investigation, and, we put a deadline on that day, for them to have it.
May 27th.
May 27th, yeah, and then we'll have